bear with me. So when we're looking at factorising these, I'm just going to quick overview again, guys. If it's a negative constant term, the only way to get a negative number is a positive times a negative number. So they're going to be different values in here, right? So when they're different values, you're going to look for the difference of, this will be a difference because one's going to be negative, one's going to be positive. If you've got 3 minus 2, it's the difference when you're subtracting. So in this case, that would give you positive 3x, and this would give you negative 2x, which would give you a difference of 1x. If it's an addition here, that means they've got to be the same. Okay, so they could be both be negative, because negative times negative is positive. They could both be positive. Then you want the sum. So if it's the same, if it's positive, you're looking for the same term, and you want the sum of them to be negative 12. So if it's negative 12, it has to be negative 7 and negative 5. So we're looking for the factors of 35 that add together to give you 12. That would be 7 and 5, but it has to be negative. Here we're looking for the factors of 6, and the difference of them is 1. So it'd be 3 and 2. I mean, again, you could say it's the sum, because it would be like 3 plus negative 2, or 3 minus 2 would give you 1. So you can still talk about the sum, but I like to look at it as difference. So when we're looking at this next question, we've got x squared plus 9x plus 18, x squared plus 9x plus 18. Again, I can see that this is going to be the same. They both have to be positive. Why they both need positive? Because it's positive 9. And it's going to be x at the start because it's just an x. So multiply together to give you 18, add together to give you 9. So it wouldn't be 1 and 18, because when you add those together, that will give you 19, right? That gives you the sum. So these are the factors. So if we have factors of 2 and 9, that's going to give you a sum of 11. So you could go with 6 and 3. That would give you a sum of 9. So it's going to have to be 6 and 3 because it gives you the sum of 9. Next one, we're looking at this one, x squared minus 11x minus 12. X squared minus 11x minus 12. This is difference. So we're looking for the difference of 11. So that one's going to be pretty easy. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. The difference between two factors that has a 1, so you've got 1 and 12, you've got 2 and 6, and you've got 3 and 4. So the difference between these, well, the difference between these is 11, 4, and 1. Clearly we want an 11, so it's going to have to be 1 and 12. And to get to negative 11, it's going to have to be plus 1 minus 12. So if you expand that out, it gives you a negative 12. That will give you the x squared. You can always check if you got it right. This will give you 1x, positive 1x, minus 12x will give you 11x. X squared plus 17x minus 38. X squared plus 17x minus 38. X squared plus 17x, x minus 38. So here we're going to look for the difference because one term has to be positive and one has to be negative. And we want a difference of 17. So the numbers are going to be pretty far apart. So it might be, what do we got? 38 would be, not 9s, half of it would give me 6, 15, 19. So it would be 19 and 2. So you could have 19 times 2 would give you that. And the difference between those would be 17. So it's going to be plus 19 and minus 2 to give you positive 17. Because that's going to give you 19x and that's going to give you minus 2x. So this is what I'm doing in my mind when I'm looking at factorising these monic expressions, when they've got a factor out the front of 1. I do it slightly different later on, and we will show you another method today about how to do that by grouping. And you use those when it's non-monic. It's a lot easier, and you can use this if you understand today's method as well for grouping and splitting these terms up. You can also do it for this term as well. That was 81. 81. So again, they need to be the same, and it obviously needs to be positive because of this symbol. Two things that give me 81. So I'm looking for the factors of 81 and give me a sum of 18. Hopefully you can think of, well, the factors are going to be 9 times 9 and the sum of that would give me 18. I mean, you could say 1 and 81 would also be a factor, but that'll give me a sum of 82. So you're kind of looking at those ones. So it's going to be plus 9, that's x, That's x. If these are both the same terms, you're actually going to write it as x plus 9 all squared, and that is a perfect square. That's what we call it. Okay, so you'd actually simplify that one down a bit more to that one too. Notice it's got the square in there. This one is a bit different. These ones I will go through today. That one's just more for me to check in if people could already do that, and clearly they can't, which is fine, but I'll come back to that one. I'll use that one for my next example. X squared plus 15x plus 54. Actually, I won't use it for an example. I'll move on. So by the time you kind of start looking at these a bit quicker, hopefully you can sort of go, okay, they both need to be positive. I need two numbers that obviously the sum of them add up to, if they're the same, it's the sum of 15. And what's two numbers multiplied to give me 54 that equal up to 15? It would be 9 and 6. So that would be x plus 9, x plus 6. Because that gives me a sum of 15, and it also gives me 54. And you get that one right. Oh, hang on, did I do that right? 9 and 6. What did I do wrong? 9 and 6 should be right. 9 times 6 is 54. Correct answer is 6. Oh, enter the smaller number first. You don't always need to enter the smaller number first. I don't think so. Personally, I do the big number because why I do that is because that actually comes anyway on the x-intercept any further. Doesn't matter. Still got that right. I would still accept it either way. I wouldn't always write the smaller number first. So if we want to factorize this, the possible values of b could be, so x squared plus bx plus 7. So we've got x squared plus bx plus 7. Well, if you think about this, right, they're both got to be the same, and it's got to be the sum of that. So really, it could be x plus what? Well, the factors of 7 could only be 1 and 7. Like, it'd be 1 and 7, right? Like, you've got no more factors in there, really. Like, you could do decimals, but we don't really get into that at the moment. So that's going to give you 8x. So the number for b would just be 8. Could it be negative 8 as well? Could it be negative 7 and negative 7? I mean, technically b could take on a value of negative 8, couldn't it? Because then that would make it negative. So it could be negative 8 as well. And they're the only two. Here, x squared plus 24x plus 63. So we're looking for the same because it's going to be the same term. The sum of them would need to be negative 24. So they're both going to be negative. So two numbers that multiply to give me 63 that add together to give me 24. So it's really just looking at multiplication and addition. So I'm thinking 9 times 7, but that doesn't add to 24. So I'm also thinking it's probably going to be a bit higher than that. 63, what else goes into 63? 21 times 3. 21 times 3 would give me 63. And it would also give me the sum of 24. Let's do the smaller number first, apparently. I don't really care about that. Yay! Okay, and that is it. So hopefully it gives you a bit of a review on those ones. So when we're going through these questions, hopefully you get a bit faster at that. Okay, so I really want you guys to become a bit more what we call fluent with these. So I was going to look at some of the worksheets, and I'm going to move through one now with you guys just to sort of have a look at how you can move through these pretty quickly. So we're going to look at some of these questions, and we're going to look at factorising, not those ones, factorising some things like this. So these ones you'll just take out your common w, so that'll be w minus 1, but let's look at some of these ones here, and we'll go through these. All right, let's look at factorising these ones. Okay, so to factorise the first ones, you always want to try and take out a common factor. That's always the very first thing you want to always look at. Take out a common factor. Can I take out a common factor? Well, in here, a common factor is w. W minus 1. Here, you're going to take out a common factor of z. Z plus 6. Here, can we take out a common factor? Yes, we can. Y minus 5. So that's as far as you can factorise it here. M plus 2. All right, let's look at that. Another thing that you really want to do that you could say is you could look at it still as a different way. Some people struggle with this, but you could say, well, this is really 2z, z squared plus 6z plus nothing, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find here two numbers that multiply to give you 0, but add together to give you 6. Well, that's going to have to be z plus 0. And it's also going to be z plus 6. Because this multiplies to give you 0, but it adds together. That's going to give you 6z. That's going to give you 0z. Adds together to give you 6z. So that would just simplify to z plus 6. So that's another way you can look at it as well if you wanted with the previous thinking. Over here, they're going to be the same. So we want to look for the sum of 11. So we're looking for, it's going to be a plus. We're going to have g in the front. And hopefully, if you're thinking about this, multiply to give you 10, add together to give you 11. So the factors would have to be 10 and 1, 2 and 5. These added together will give you 11. That added together will give you 7. So we're looking for the sum factors. It's going to have to be 1 and 10. Here, we're looking for, they have to be the same. It's going to be addition. And we're looking for the sum of 15, where you multiply together to get 50. Well, that's going to be, hopefully you're getting a bit faster at this, would be 10 and 5. Sum of 15, multiplication of 50, sum of 15. Here, we're looking for this is the same, and they need to be addition as well. Multiplication of 54, when you add them together, it gives you 15. I'm thinking 9 and 6. 9 times 6 gives you 54. 9 plus 6 gives you 15. So all you're trying to do is figure out what multiplies to give you this and adds to give you that. Again, this is going to be the same, and they both need to be positive. What multiplies to give you 24, but adds together to give you 10? Well, I'm thinking 24 and 1, that adds together to give me 25. 2 and 12, that adds together to give me 14. We've also got 6 and 4. Aha, that adds together to give me 10. 6 and 4. Here, let's look at this. Same, but it's going to give me a negative. So that means it has to be negative in both of them. They have to be both the same in there because we have addition. And we're looking for the sum of negative 9. Two numbers that give you 20, multiplication of positive 20, but add together to give you negative 9. 4 times 5, right? So 4 and 5 would give you 20, and it would add together to give you 9. They'll both be negative, though. Give you positive 9. So give you positive 20 when you multiply them, negative 9 when you add them. 4 and 5. Here, again, we're looking at J. They're going to be the same, but they have to be negative, because a negative times a negative will give you positive. Multiply to give you 2, add together to give you 3. Well, that'll be 2 times 1. Here, going to be the same. They both need to be negative. Multiply to give you 9, add together to give you 10. 1 and 10. Multiply to give me 10. 1 and 9. Multiply to give me 9, add together to give me 10. Here, they both need to be the same term. They need to add together to give me negative 9. So that's going to be 6 and 3. Because negative 6 times negative 3 will give me a positive 18. But negative 6q minus negative 3q will give me negative 9q. I want you guys to have a think of this when we're going through. Please yell out if you're not understanding it. But other than that, I would like you guys to have a think of these ones as we're working through this one. So, these ones here, This is a negative. So we're going to look for the difference. When you look for the difference, we're going to look, sorry, when they're going to be different, I should say the terms are going to be different because the only way to get a negative is a negative and a positive, because it's going to be this negative times that positive give negative. And we're going to look for the difference of 5. So two numbers multiplied to give you 14 and difference of 5, well, that would be 7 and 2. Difference between those is 5. So it'll be minus 7, because this is negative, that's going to give you negative 7n and plus 2. Here, again, this one's negative, so we're going to have different symbols. And we want the difference to be 2. So they're going to be pretty close numbers to each other. So it'll be 6 and 8. And it'll be negative 8 to give you the negative 8 plus 6, because that would then give you negative 2. Over here, it's negative, so it's going to be different symbols. So we want to look for the difference of 5. Multiplication of 24, difference between the two give you 5. So I'm thinking that would be 6 times 4, but 6 times 4 would only have a difference of 2. So it needs to be a bit further than that. 12 times 2, or 12 and 2 has a difference of 10. So 4 times 6, no, we already did that. 3 would work, wouldn't it? 3 times 8, right? Yep, there we go. So 3 would be negative and 8 would be positive to give you positive 5p. That's going to give you 8p, that's going to give you minus 3p. So positive 5p. So we want it's going to be 3 and 8, and we want the difference of positive 5, so therefore it needs to be negative 3 here. The first one, we saw we need two numbers multiplied to give you 14, and the difference is 5. The difference between these is 5, but we want it to be negative 5, so it has to be negative 7. Over here, when we did this one, we want to see we want to look for the factors of 48 that gives you a difference of 2. So the factors of 48 that gives you a difference of 2 would be 8 and 6. We want to be negative 2. That's going to give you a difference of 2. So if you want to be negative, it needs to be, because you want a difference of negative 2, you want a difference of negative 5, negative 8 needs to be. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Salmon, if you got different, which way you write these, I don't think it really matters. I'm not too fussed with that. So don't worry too much. But normally the smallest number goes first, how we would do that. So the more negative it is, the smaller it's going to be. So here again, I really want you guys just to focus more on the factorising and be able to get this one. They're going to be different terms, and you want a difference of 2. So that's going to be 5 times 7. So that's going to be C. It's going to be obviously plus 7 to give you the positive, C minus 7, and that would be it. Here again, let's look at these. They're going to be the same. They both need to be positive in this case. So the same, and it gives you the sum of 10. So it's going to be 7 and 3. Here, they're going to be the same, and it needs to give you a sum of negative 6. So that's going to be H minus 1, H minus 5. Multiplication, this is going to be different. Different, and we want them to be different by 3. So that's going to be 5 times 8. And it has to be plus 8 and E minus 5. Here, we're going to look for, they need to be the same, and we want the sum then to be 10. So that's going to be 4 times, not 4, it would be 8 times 2. And it'll both be negative. So hopefully you can start speeding it up. Here, we're looking for the same. They both need to be negative. Two numbers that give you 49 multiplied but negative 14 is going to be x minus 7 and x minus 7. So that's going to be x7 squared. Here, they're going to both be the same, and they need to be positive, and that's going to be, again, t plus 7 for both of them. There's going to be 2 of them, so it's t plus 7 squared. Here, we're looking for 2 of them that are the same. Gives you a multiplication of 25 and adds together to be 10. Well, that'd be 5 times 5, give you 10. So it's going to be x plus 5, which is x plus 5 squared. Here, again, this one's just going to be g plus 8 squared. So hopefully you'll get a bit quicker at it as you go along. When you're factorising these ones, I will just go through this one as well. And then I'm hoping you guys become a bit more proficient in this. And then we're nearly done. And then I'm going to give you guys a nice little worksheet to work on. A bit quicker. Not yet. Okay, so this one here, if you're looking at this, this gets a bit tricky. There is a couple of ways to do this. So this is a difference of perfect squares. But really what you've got is I could write this as s squared minus 0s, right? Or plus 0s. It doesn't really matter. Minus 25. So here, I know they're going to be different, right? And I need to multiply to get negative 25, but they need to add together to give me 0. So that means they're going to be, the difference is nothing. So that actually means it's going to be x minus 5, x plus 5. The difference between these is nothing, but they multiply to give me 25. Here, again, I want a difference of nothing because I've got 0z, but I want them to multiply to give me 49. So that's actually going to be z, and they both need to be different terms, minus 7, z plus 7. And this is what we call difference of perfect squares. Here, again, we've got difference of nothing, but they're going to be different symbols, and we want a difference of nothing. So it's going to be u minus, because they're different symbols, 6, u plus 6. Here, we're looking at a multiplication of negative 16. They're both going to be different, and a difference of nothing. So it's going to be r minus 4, r plus 4. Hopefully you're comfortable with this. So here, looking at these, we've got they're going to both be the same, and they need to be 18. So that's going to be f plus 9 all squared. These need to be, this is going to be n plus 10, n plus 7. This one's going to be n minus 9, j minus 9, j minus 4. This one here is going to be, they're different, and we want a difference of 2. So that's going to be p minus 4, p plus 2. So where I really wanted to go through this with you guys is hopefully you can become really proficient. So I am going to give you a bit of a worksheet to work on a little bit later on. When you come to these worksheets, I'm hoping that you can go through it really quickly. Like u will be the first factor, and the next factor will be u minus 4. J plus 5. F minus 1. W plus 3. Here would be e plus 6, e plus 7, e plus 6, e plus 1. Here would be g plus 10, g plus 3. Here would be c plus 7, c plus 10, because it's 70 and 17. Here, it's going to be p plus 2, p plus 3, because 2 times 3 gives you 6, and it adds together to give you 5. Here, because I'm looking at positive, and they both be negative, it's going to be a minus 2, a minus 5, a minus 1, to give you a sum of 6, multiplication of 5. Here, they're both going to be negative numbers multiplied by each other. So it's going to be s minus 4, s minus 5. Here we're looking at n minus 7, n minus 1. Here we're looking at k minus 8, k minus 1. Here we're going to be looking at a difference of 2. So it's going to be, and it's going to be negative, it's going to be y minus 4, y minus 2. Here we're looking at q, it's going to be difference of positive 6. So it's going to be 8 times 2. So we're going to be q plus 8. Q minus 2. Here we're looking at a difference of 4. It's going to be 6 and 10, so it's going to be m plus 10, m minus 6. Here you're looking at a difference of 4. It's going to be negative, so it's going to be 8 times 4. So it's going to be v minus 8, v plus 4. Here we're looking at the same, and they need to add together to give me 15. So it's going to be t minus 10, t minus 5. I think this is a worksheet we just went through, wasn't it? Doesn't matter. This is going to be r. We need multiplication of 14, add to give me positive 9. So that would be 7 and 2, r plus 7, r plus 2. Here, this is going to be different with a difference of 3. So that's going to be 6 and 3. So it's going to be x plus 6, x minus 3. Here, they're going to be different, and we're looking for a difference of 9. So it's going to be h plus 10, h minus 1. Here, they're both going to be the same symbol, and we're looking to add together to give us 20. So it's going to be z plus 10, z plus 10. So it's z squared, z plus 10 squared. Here, we're looking for multiplication to give me 16, add together to give me 8. So it'd be b plus 4, b plus 4. So it'd be b plus 4 squared. Here, multiplication of 49, negative 14 when you add together. So 7 and negative 7, negative 7. Here, we're looking again, multiplication of 4, difference of negative 4. So that would be negative 2 and negative 2. Here we've got 0z in there, so we're going to actually, there's difference of 2 squares for that, so it's going to be n minus 1, n plus 1. Here it's going to be u plus 9, u minus 9, because you've got 0 u's in there. So it's a difference, because it's still a negative on the last term. You want a difference of nothing. Here you want a difference of nothing as well. So it's going to be minus 10 and positive 10. Here I want a difference of nothing, so it's going to be minus 7 and plus 7. Here it's going to be j bracket j plus 1. Here we're going to look at, this is the same, needs to give me an add together 11. So it's going to be 7 times 4. So it's going to be 7 and 4, q plus 7, q plus 4. Here we need going to be the same, that give me a sum of negative 11. So that's not 3 and 10. It's going to be, what is that? 15 and 2, 3 and 10. This one's stumping me. Negative 3, negative 10, that'd be negative 13. 5 and 6. Right, negative 5 times negative 6 will give me negative 11. This one, it's 0f, so therefore we want it's a difference of 25 difference, and they both got to give me a difference of nothing, so it's going to be minus 5 plus 5. Hopefully you get to that fast.